Good evening, everyone. We'll get started. Thanks for joining us for another celebration of our 35th anniversary. We've been doing that really since January, our first speaker event, kind of using that as branding and in a sense, doing our events a bit bigger than we would otherwise perhaps, bringing more people back, doing things like this that we wouldn't do every year quite in this way. And it really typified for me last night. We had our law school alumni awards, and 2 of the award winners out of 4 were from the sports law program. One who got here when I was a student back in 1993, and now many of you know Greg Heller with the Atlanta Braves. So he was here at a time we didn't have a certificate. We didn't really have a sports law program, though the 5 or 6 of us that were doing something probably thought we did. Had a few classes, had a few internships, things like that. And then ended, for me also, though the award began it, was our sports law alumnus of the year, who you'll meet more later, Carrie Sabula, who was here after we created the certificate, started to create a program, really started to get further than that. So tonight we're kind of starting with a small sort of remembrance on that, celebrating this 35 years, which some of us right here, have been around for most of those 35 years. I asked Professor Jim Gray from the class of 1990 to come back and kind of talk about that experience of he was a student here when the Institute was formed. Then he became the first employee really as the first assistant director and give that perspective on what it meant to create the Institute, because many of you are here because of it, and many of you are here to be part of it. So I think it was important to start with that. Jim was also probably the first person I met because Marty Greenberg wasn't available. So I went and met Jim, so it's a perfect kind of bringing back to the beginning for me. So I'm going to turn it over to Professor Gray. Jim.
Thank you, Paul. My name is James Gray. I'm a 1990 graduate of Marquette University Law School, and currently I serve as a professor at Marian University based in Fond du Lac, where I'm the Sports and Recreation Management Program Director. I'd like to share a story with respect to the National Sports Law Institute that includes 3 themes: that of inspiration, choice, and the pursuit of excellence. But before I share the NSLI story of inspiration, choice, and the pursuit of excellence, please note that I'll focus my commentary relative to the early years, from 1989 to 1997. Further, I have intentionally omitted the names of specific individuals because, by my count, there were at least 100 people who had shaped, guided, and nurtured the NSLI during this time of inspiration, choice, and the pursuit of excellence. I'd like to direct your attention to the state of Marquette University Law School 35 years ago. Marquette is a wonderful law school, and 35 years ago, it was no different. As always, it was filled with dedicated professors and striving students. Times were good. Tuition was reasonable. Jobs were available. Being a Marquette lawyer meant one served clients effectively, possessed a great sense of ethics, and willingly engaged in ongoing improvement of self and that of community. Things were going along smoothly. Maintain the status quo was the order of the day. Yet those of the NSLI asked, was there something more? The answer was an emphatic yes. What was it? It was excellence in sports law education. It was recognized by those establishing the NSLI that the time to embrace effective change is when times are thought of as good rather than during times of enduring crises. However, to the outside world, the following challenges were regularly put forward during the late 1980s and early 1990s. Sports law in Milwaukee? At Marquette? Really? Let me share with you and direct your attention to the state of sports law education 35 years ago. Simultaneously, 35 years ago, anything related to sport-based education was manifestly suspect. The primary objection from the Academy with respect to any study of sports issues, whether it involved the law, management, ethics, and medicine, was the utter disbelief and sometimes outright hostility towards academically rigorous sports-based learning and education. In some, many assumed the study of sports law as no more than a discussion of socks and jocks. This reaction was stunning. It was so patently hostile that nationally, some of my brethren were startled to have their sports law courses condemned as praiseworthy as compared to credit-worthy. Despite the naysayers, at the time of its founding in 1989, the NSLI became the first academically based sports law program anywhere in the world. Being the first bestows challenges and confers opportunities. Let me share with you the NSLI's pursuit of excellence. Excellence, by definition, requires continued deviance from the norm and is at times painful as well as isolating. Excellence occurs because one is accomplishing things that most members of society refuse to do. With respect to the pursuit of excellence, I now share several noteworthy achievements. First, a total of $500,000 was raised from the Milwaukee Admirals, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Green Bay Packers, and Miller Brewing Company. This was nothing short of a miracle, where fiscally conservative Milwaukee and Wisconsin invested in the dream along with the promise of sports law education. With the financial backing during the first few years of the NSLI's existence, several milestones were realized, including the initial publication of the Marquette Sports Law Journal, now known as the Marquette Sports Law Review, in 1990. This marked the first time in legal history that a law review was entirely dedicated to sports law scholarship. Similarly, the NSLI's bi-monthly newsletter, For the Record, addressed the sports law issues of the day with contributions from prominent sports industry professionals and leaders. The quarterly For the Record Extra was the NSLI's primary education and networking mechanism for those within the sports media. The NSLI's pioneering interdisciplinary approach to high school sports and risk management, known as Reduce Your Risk, was created to protect the health and safety of high school athletes and minimize the legal liability for school districts within the greater Milwaukee area. The publication of two books, the first entitled Sports Law Practice and second, The Stadium Game, was published. Sports Law Practice was a practitioners-based book with forms to help attorneys negotiate professional player contracts as well as endorsement agreements. The Stadium Game was a how-to publication to help cities, states, teams, and facility owners negotiate the leases for many, if not all, of the venues which were built in North America during the 1990s and beyond. We annually hosted conferences such as Sports Venues, Revenues, and Values, which addressed sports facility legal issues, as well as Sports Dollars and Cents, which examined sports employment and endorsement agreements. Internationally, the NSLI served as an inspiration for sports law learning. Some of the partnerships we fostered included the Anglia Ruskin University Sports Law Program, based in Chelmsford, England, the Australian and New Zealand Sports Law Association, the Griffith University Sports Law Program, based in Brisbane, Australia, the University of Cape Town and the University of Johannesburg Sports Law Initiatives in South Africa, along with the Asser Institute based in The Hague in the Netherlands. These relationships resulted in splendid initiatives that mutually benefited all who were involved. The Master of the Game Award was created here during this time and recognized sports-based achievements and community leadership. Recipients of this award included Hank Aaron of the Milwaukee Braves and later the Atlanta Braves, Bart Starr and Bob Harlan of the Green Bay Packers, and Marquette's very own Al McGuire. Success is often measured by whether one left a place better as compared to one's initial arrival. Given the foregoing, the NSLI has offered internationally recognized sports law education during the last 35 years and forged mutually beneficial relationships for all who were motivated by the pursuit of excellence. I'd like to speak directly to the students gathered here today. I point your attention to a call to pursue servant leadership. Before I conclude my remarks this afternoon, and as the students are persisting towards earning your degree here from Marquette Law School, please contemplate the following 4 questions. Number 1, what do you stand for? Number 2, do you believe in anything worthwhile? Third, are you willing to leave a legacy in the service of others? And 4, what is your approach to that of excellence? As each student reflects upon these inquiries, please be aware and continue to keep in mind that each and every student has also been blessed and invited to live the vision statement of Marquette University. The Marquette University vision statement provides in pertinent part, and I quote, to reach beyond traditional academic boundaries and embrace new and collaborative methods of teaching, learning, research, and service in an inclusive environment. The application of this vision statement, along with our commitment to excellence, has been guided by the prolific learning approach and teaching practices of the Society of Jesus, which was established in 1540 by St. Ignatius Loyola. Similarly, our application of the vision statement, along with our commitment to excellence, has been inspired by the fortitude of Father Jacques Marquette, Society of Jesus, 1637 to 1675, who was a French missionary and explorer of North America. With respect to the practical application of living the vision statement, I humbly offer some instruction and advice. Be aware that the constant companion of vision is that of adversity. Further, one should be motivated when embarking on this journey. Motivation comes solely from within. When motivation starts to wane, and it is inevitable, discipline kicks in. The origin of discipline is that of faith. I believe. I believe. I believe. When success has emerged in connection with vision, give glory to God, as well as share and share alike. When adversity strikes, learn from it and remain steadfast and persistent. This approach shapes one's identity and teaches us to effectively manage one's fears. All in all, it is a choice. Does one become a fighter or does one become a victim? Ask these two questions on a regular and ongoing basis while students here at Marquette Law School. First, who am I? Second, what am I doing here? An effective response will start to emerge from these set of circumstances. In sum, all possess the ability to truly live the Marquette tagline, "Be the difference." In this regard, each student is merely limited by intellect, creativity, grit, and the growth mindset in connection with fulfilling individual dreams for success and making our communities better now and into the future. The foregoing are the lessons learned relative to my direct experience with inspiration, choice, and the pursuit of excellence that I have been blessed with during my 35 years of being associated with the National Sports Law Institute of Marquette University Law School. Thank you for the invitation to share my reflections with one and all here this afternoon. I wish everybody much continued success and better tomorrows. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your attention. I now invite Paul Anderson to return to the podium regarding the next portion of our program scheduled for this afternoon. Thank you once again. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Jim. What we're going to do now, you saw the paper outside. And, well, two things about this picture. First of all, yes, I do want all of you in the picture. Remember, if you're in this room, I invited you to be in this room. So I wouldn't invite you and say, by the way, half of you, if you could stay in here while we take a nice picture. So yes, please, you're all part of what we're doing. The reason we do this picture, well, one, we've only done it twice. This will be our third time because we weren't in this building yet. We didn't have the way to do it. But two, this sports law program is you. It's the people in the sports law program. It's not this logo, it's the people. So I like to have a representation of those people every 5 years. But it really is important. What we will do, you notice the paper out there. There are not, I think there are 100, some of you, there are not 100 pieces of paper. But try to line up in some of those shapes. Pick up the paper. Eric, Monica, and I will come and throw the paper out. Mike will be upstairs, he's going to get the lighting done and all that. And then we'll start just molding you, moving you, whatever we need to do to get it into a 35. After that, once he tells us it worked, he'll send us all in the reception for the cafe. So please head out, and we'll see how this works. All right, hello again. We'll get started with our ceremony. Everything I'm going to go through is in more detail, obviously, in the blue program you have. But we'll still go through and introduce everyone. We're going to start with our certificate class from 2024, 27 students who I hope are all still here. We'll see. Okay, all right. And they will go with, we now are up to 498 graduates as of last year with a certificate, so they'll kick us over 500 for the first time. If my calculations are correct, I think they are from 12 states and Canada and Cuba. They are from 24 colleges, 4 graduate schools for the sports law grandpas who are out there. And obviously, 24 different colleges for 27 people is pretty incredible for this. We often have people who are a lot of people from the same schools, not this group. Complete list is on page 3, but I'm going to introduce them all. I'm going to ask them to stand up, and I'm going to ask them to stay standing until everyone's. Yes, Jillian, I'm going to ask them to stand up, stay standing until everyone's called on, and then I'd say hold your applause, but I don't know. I'll do my best, okay? So we'll start with John Babington. Okay. Clapping first. That's Mike Balaban. Abigail Barnett. Shane Boucher. Madison Bushman. Libby Conley. John Danner. Michael Dobbins. Pat Dahl. Jack Dwyer. Kyle Erickson. Madeline Farrell. Seth Jaglinski. William Jones. Ryan Malliott. Rusty Miller. Ryan Monsivais. Austin Mondbriand. Where are you? Oh. Jillian Niesel. Jose Alvideo. Daniel Potter. Samantha Rice. Zach Samancic. Eric Silver. Courtney Tarnow. Darius Vasugi. Oh. And Riley Wilkins. Congratulations to all of you. Assuming you passed my course, his course, other people's course in this room. You get your certificates on May 14th when we do a luncheon with you guys, so congratulations. Next, what we're going to do is go through our student groups. One note, first of all, the descriptions of what all these groups are, if you're not familiar with them, is in the program, so we're not going to go through that. But I would note that every single one of these student groups was created by students. Even the Sports Law Journal years ago was a move by students to kind of push that through. Even the Sports Law Society, I know when I was a student, we really pushed to create something like that. So all these are student-driven, and that's why it's so important. They're students doing stuff for students with students, which is most important. So each group, I'm basically going to ask the current leaders to come up, recognize some of their friends who have helped, and also introduce the new leaders. So we'll start with the peer-to-peer network and Courtney Tarnow.
Hi, everyone. I first want to start off by thanking our 3 outgoing committee members, Abigail Barnett, Austin Montbriand, and Samantha Rice. Thank you guys all for your help this year. And then I'm happy to announce our co-chairs for next year are going to be Gabe Ellis and Eric Peterson. If you guys want to come up here, we can get a photo.
Thank you, Courtney. Congratulations, Gabe and Eric. I'll need a report on what you guys are going to do in a couple weeks for next year. Next is the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee and John Babington.
Hi, everyone. I'm John Babington. I wanted to first thank everyone who was part of the DEI committee this year. So if you attend an event, talk to me about joining, or consider yourself a part of the DEI, if you could just stand up, we'll give you a quick applause. There you go, Darius. Wesley, there you go. I know there's a lot more of us than who are standing, but I just wanted to thank you guys. I think this is a great, very great initiative for us to be pushing forward within the sports law program. And with that, I'd also want to thank Sydney Hardy, who was my co-chair this year. Sydney, if you want to stand up. And stay standing up, Sydney, because to introduce next year's co-chairs, it will be Sydney Hardy returning, as well as Wesley Leger. If you guys want to come up for a photo.
Next, in the program, there's a long list of competition teams that we supported this year. I think 12 national competitions, 2 internal competitions. I'm not going to go through all of them. I would mention, though, the winners of our fall collegiate athletics competition, which were Monica Martinez and Kate Reeves. I think I should make them stand up. Yeah, and they're sitting next to each other. And then of our spring pro competition, which was just, 2 weeks ago, Arton Riza and Austin Chamorro. And finally, want to recognize Abigail Barnett and Sam Rice. You guys can... They won the Best Team Advocacy Award at the California Sports Lawyer Negotiation Competition at the Rose Bowl this spring, right? Yes, congratulations. And then I'm going to ask Austin to come back up with John, and they're going to talk to you about the Sport Law Competition Board.
All right. Hello, everyone. Austin Montbrion, co-chair of the Student Alumni Committee Board. This has been a really cool opportunity for me and John, not only to meet the alumni, just a broader list of everyone, but also to create really cool mentorship projects for all of our 3L students. So thank you to all the alumni that are here tonight. I know we have a few that participated in it, and as well as all the 3Ls that decided to roll with us on the project. Now I'll pass it off to John to introduce our new board.
I echo everything Austin said. Very thankful and grateful for this year working with you all. And introduce next year's board. It is Sam Granderson and Henry Score. Take a photo.
And for our next groups, I'm going to ask Professor Mitten to come up.
Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. With the first pick of the NFL draft, it's next week, sorry about that. Hey, it's great to see so many students here and so many alumni. Excellent address, Jim, and good to see you, Jan, and so many of my faculty colleagues, and of course, the dean is back there. You know, I want to congratulate the sports law certificate candidates because the requirements that you have to satisfy, and there are 8 of them, are far more rigorous than any other law school in the country, including one that is represented that their sports law program is ranked higher than ours consistently, which is blatantly false. Just want to get that out there. So our Sports Law Society, not surprisingly, is the largest single student organization. Its president this year was Abigail Barnett, so if she would come up and introduce her board and next year's board.
Hi, I'm Abigail. I was the president this year of SLS, and I really enjoyed my time, and I wanted to thank all of the members for their participation, and I also want to thank the officers this year, and as I call your name, please stand. So Courtney Tarno, Daniel Potter, John Michalak, and then our 1L reps, if you're here, we have Wesley Leger, Max Brodsky, Jason Kessler, and Cassidy Atchison. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce the 2024-25 board. So our president, Kate Reeves, and as I call your name, please come down. Vice President John Michalak, Secretary Jason Kessler, and Treasurer John Achkar. Okay, and now I'm going to stay for Marquette Sports Law Review. So I'm going to, you can see the entire list of our board and members on page 7. I want to thank all of our members for their hard work this year, as well as my executive board. I could not do it without all of you. So as I call your name, please just stand so I can recognize our current board. So Courtney Tarno, Samantha Rice, Austin Montbriand, Madeline Farrell, Patrick Dahl, and then our senior members, Daniel Potter and Ryan Malliott. Thank y'all very much for all of your help. And then I would also like to introduce our next year's editorial board. And as I call your name, please come forward so we can all take a picture. So, Editor-in-Chief Kate Reeves, Executive Editor John Michalak, Comment Editor Nick Frawley, Articles Editor Levi Lorenz, our co-survey and index editors Joe Delia and Sydney Hardy, and our research editor Eric Peterson.
Thanks, Abby. And I might have skipped one group, so I'm going to ask Austin to come back up and tell you about the competition board. Sorry. And Sam as well.
All right, so me and Sam were the co-chairs of the competition board this past year. Really holds a special place in my heart at the law school. I think it's been probably the most rewarding experience that I've done during my time here. So just wanted to say that first. But I also wanted to come up here and thank our student volunteers, alumni, and all the professional judges that we had to support this competition, specifically the volunteers. Like, this was a huge endeavor throughout this entire year to actually see through the finish line. So thank you guys all personally. And special thanks to the associate board members that aren't up here with us, but in the crowd as well. So go ahead and stand up so we can clap for you. Mike Balaban. Abigail Barnett. Libby Conley. And then Riley Wilkins. And now I'll pass it off to Sam to introduce our new board.
So when you hear your names, please come down for take a picture. So for our internal competition chair, Henry Score, national competition chair, Austin Chamorro, and then associate board members, Noah Cohen, Brittany Dickey, Matthew Duffy, Gabe Ellis, Eric Peterson, and Artone Riza.
So not surprisingly, our crowd's a little more boisterous since we did the reception before the awards ceremony, working out well. Okay, so now what we're going to do is recognize winners of various student awards, and the description for these can be found on pages 8 and 9 of your program. Of special note are the scholarships and awards that several students have already received this year. And I want to thank two special guests tonight. We have with us sports law professor and alumnus Joseph Tierney III and his sister Mary Alice Tierney. They're right here in the front row. So they're part of what I like to call the first family of sports law. The Tierney family was the only family that has gotten our Master of the Game Award, and Joe and Mary Alice, along with Joe's wife Kay, support a memorial scholarship fund in honor of their parents, as well that provides scholarships for our Sports Law Review editors, as well as the Joseph E. Tierney Jr. Award, that's their father, that will be announced during the luncheon for certificate candidates on May 14th. So our first award is the Marquette Sports Law Review Comment Competition Award, and I would like to invite the Law Review's comment editor, Courtney Tarnow, to come forward and announce the winner of this year's award. So, Courtney.
All right, I want to start off first of all by thanking all of our members on the Law Review this year. You guys all put a lot of time and effort into your comments, and that really showed throughout this process. We had 18 finalists who we considered for the Comment Competition Award, and after a thorough review by the board, we did select a winner. Congratulations to Gabe Ellis. His comment titled "Special Admissions: Why the Affirmative Action Precedent Could Open the Door to Challenges Against Student Athlete Preferences."
So our next award is the Collegiate Issues in Sports Writing Award, and I'd like to have Ryan Monsivaglias, the 2023 winner of this award, come up and present this year's winner.
No, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. The 2024 winner is going to be Gabe Ellis, again, who just won. So congratulations.
Next, we have the Joseph E. O'Neill Prize for Student Writing, and if Professor Veda Lindsay, who is our Associate Dean for Enrollment and Inclusion, and a member of the NSLI's Board of Advisors, as well as my office suite mate next door, to come forward and present this award.
Thank you, Professor Minton. Good evening, everyone, and first I would like to congratulate everyone on your successes this evening. My job tonight is to award the winner of the 2024 Joseph E. O'Neill Prize, and that is going to be awarded to Pat Dow for his great article. Okay, so let me at least give the name of his article. We need clarity, a proposed federal amendment to trademark confusion, test through the lens of esports and electronic word marks, which will be published in the spring 2024 of the Marquette Sports Law Review. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
So that is accepting an award with authority, as Marv Albert would say. So our next two awards were created through the generosity of Ann Wall, who's been a longtime member of the NSLI's Board of Advisors. Unfortunately, she could not be with us tonight, but we're still going to present her awards. The first one is the Ann Wall Ethics in Sports Law Writing Award. And I'd like to have Daniel Potter, who won this award last year, come forward and present it to this year's winner.
The 2024 Ethics in Sports Law Writing Award winner is Eric Peterson for his article, Ready, Set, Go, The Race Between the Government, the Constitution, and Racehorses. Congratulations, Eric.
So next we have the Ann Wall Top Scholar in Sports Law Award. And I'd like to invite Professor Ilana Olson, who's the director of our law library, as well as the Labor and Employment Law Program. She's also a member of the NSLI's Board of Advisors, to come forward and introduce the winner of this year's award.
The winner of the 2024 Top Scholar in Sports Law Award is Madison Bushman.
And now back to Professor Anderson for to MC the rest of our program.
Thanks, Matt. That is all for the writing awards. Now we go into the awards for other parts of this program. And the first is the Nick DeLorme Intern of the Year Award. Created this award last year, and this year we had, which was great, double the amount of applicants to it, which is good when an award starts to get more interest. More people are very interested in applying to it. From what I told, and by the way, Matt and I do not judge these awards, so that's good. But from the people who did judge it, the alums, it took them until, let's just put it this way, if you guys kept deadlines like they did, you wouldn't do well in my class. So until yesterday, I didn't know, because it took them a little while, because there were such great candidates. So all of you applied, appreciate it, because they were all very impressed. The winner this year, their intern sponsor said this, because we don't just have your application, you tell us who is your supervisor. I go to the supervisor and say, hey, they applied, why should they win? And they write something about you. So let me just read something about the winner. He is an individual whom we have enjoyed having on our team, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow into the successful young man he will be in the near future. We are grateful to have him assist us in real-time situations and provide work that makes an impact on the organization for the present and also the future. Special thanks to Nick's wife, Megan, and her mom, Dawn, for joining us tonight. And I'm going to ask Megan to come up here and help me give the award. Happy to introduce Henry. That's right. Happy to introduce Henry Score, the winner of the Intern of the Year Award this year. Right, we have 2 awards coming up that are supported by Marty Greenberg, our founder. Marty, literally, according to Marty, he's on a plane on his way back from Florida today. I don't know what planes land from Florida tonight, but he's not here. He'll be around next week, I'm told. He already set up some meetings with me. But he could not be here tonight. But he does support 2 of our awards. And the first, we rebranded as a Skills Development Award this year. It was called a Transactional Skills Award, but it was tied to his 2 courses that I now teach, which wouldn't be appropriate. So we wanted to branch that out. We expanded it to include basically performance in workshops taken for the sports law certificate, and also performance in internal or national competitions. And again, there was an incredible amount of people who applied for this. It was fantastic. Really a tough decision to make, but I asked Jan Dolishall, right up here, one of our board members, board of advisors, who some of you would know as she visits some of my classes over the years. Jan will introduce the winner.
The winner of this 2024 winner of the Skills Development Award is, look at that, how quiet they all are, Samantha Rice.
I'm sorry. That's all the applause. And then our final 3 awards, our final 3 student awards, recognize students in each of our classes within the law school. So the first year award, it's called our Sports Law Program Service Award. And I'm going to ask Sydney Hardy, a co-winner of the award last year, to come down and introduce the winner this year.
And the 2024 1L Service Award winner is Matt Gerhardt.
And next we have our 2L award, which we call our Alumni Achievement Award. And for that, I'm going to ask Abigail Barnett and again, Pat Dahl to come forward, the winners from last year. That's right here. Sorry, wrong paper. That's okay. They're in there.
I guess I'll do first.
Okay. We have 2 winners this year. So our first winner is John Michalik.
And the second winner is Eric Peterson.
Sweet, killed it. And our final award, in a sense, is our 3L award. So this is the Martin Greenberg Award for the Excellence in the Study of Sports Law. And I had asked Jim Gray, who you met earlier today, to present the winners of this award.
Thank you, Paul. The 2024 co-winners of the Martin J. Greenberg Award for Excellence in the Study of Sports Law were Pat Dahl and Austin Marbrian. Pat, congratulations. Austin, congratulations.
All right, congratulations, everyone. And before we get to our last award, I want to talk about one of our person who was very important to the sports law program who we lost about a year ago, Christy Schofer. You might have seen that picture when you came in the room. Christy was from our class of 2001, and I got to know her August 27th, 1998, when she yelled at me at the end of our first orientation event saying, "I'm going to be in charge of this thing before I graduate." And in a sense, she sort of was. She did everything that all of you guys did. We didn't have half these awards. She would have won them. By the time she graduated, she was the editor-in-chief of the Sports Law Review. At that time, the Institute was 2 doors off of Wisconsin Avenue, the second door in the building, and the Law Review office was a desk in front of my office in the Institute. Problem was, Christy was very loud. And Christy was an obnoxious Yankees fan, an obnoxious Jets fan, and she also, well, you know, and also she, it's possible she had a very colorful language she would use, and she would take her job very seriously and use that language talking to members, talking to other editors. So pretty much after a while, Matt and I had to move the Law Review office behind my office into a corner where I could close the door on her. When she graduated, she had a teaching certification coming into law school. When she graduated, she went into teaching at the University of Wisconsin-Parkside, and she would invite me down to kind of visit class and things like that. And it's one of those things, you guys will experience this as you all graduate and go into your careers, when you see alums in a different way than you did as a student, because she was a better teacher than I could ever be. I would be down there going, wow, they actually like her, huh? And they're actually listening, and they seem to be challenged but enjoy that, and it was impressive. Eventually, I invited her to co-speak with me at a national conference in Myrtle Beach. It sounds fancier than it was. It wasn't at a nice hotel. It was called the Sport and Recreation Law Association. We did a topic, I think, on homeschooling and sports, something like that. And again, by the end of it, even my friends in the conference said, wow, she's better than you, and she's one of your students. She eventually led that group. She became the executive director. Eventually, she went to Winthrop University. Around 2009, we gave her our alumni award, actually. As I said, she passed away a year ago. It was a surprise to a lot of us. And as I talked to a lot of alums, including Lauren McCoy Coffey and Carrie Sabula, who you'll meet again in a little bit, we decided to do something to remember Christy. And so if you guys want to come up. What we decided on, also talking with Mark Dodds, another one of our alums at SUNY Cortland, was sort of a remembrance. Okay, so it's this picture. You guys could bring it to them, I don't know. Okay, it's a little small to see from up back there, but it's a picture in memory of Christy. And it really is something that we want to memorialize her forever. It says, in memory of Christy Schofer, sports law student, alum, board member, mentor, leader, and friend for years of leadership, humor, and support. You will be missed. This originally was going to be in the Law Review office, but I realized the only people who can go into that office are the editors of the Law Review, really, so no one would see it. So it's going to be where Christy should be, right outside of my office in the Institute. For years to come, just a way to remember someone we lost. So thank you. And with that, I'll have these two come up again in a minute, but I'll let them sit. We get to our final award, which is our Alumni Award. We call this the Charles W. Minkowski Sports Law Alumnus of the Year Award. Chuck was the Associate Dean when I was a student. He was the Associate Dean when Jim was a student, I believe, when the Institute was created. He was basically one of the foundational people who helped create the National Sports Law Institute. So when he passed, we changed the name of this because he was also an alum of our law school. Dean Kearney presented the 2024 award to Carrie Sabula last night at the law school's Alumni Awards reception, but of course we want to recognize her here as a member of our program. Before I present the award, I made a mistake with this one because I sort of asked people, hey, who should I ask to say a few words about Carrie? And everyone I asked said, here's some words, so I'm going to read you a few words. It's good. I cut it down a lot because people sent some pretty long tributes that I'll give you, but I'm just going to read some words from her colleagues in the field. Just to give you an impression of Carrie that you might not know as well. First is from Dr. Neil Partington, Senior Lecturer in Law at Sussex Law School at the University of Sussex in the United Kingdom. He says, from the very first meeting at SIRLA is that Sport and Recreation Law Association, by the way, Carrie's friendly, supportive, and approachable approach to peers has been both striking and constant. Put simply, I feel very fortunate to have the pleasure and privilege of working with her. Carrie's strong work ethic never ceases to amaze. Indeed, I can go on and on with strengths that Carrie models and displays daily in all of her professional activities. Her inclusive, warm, thoughtful, and caring nature magnifies these significant attributes to a level that ensures that I could not wish for a better colleague to conduct an international collaboration with. Next is from Professor Nita Unruh, Associate Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. When Christy and I, the Christy here, were talking about a replacement as the next executive director of CIRLA, Carrie's name came right to the top. She took the reins. Carrie is now the executive director of that organization. And the organization, with grace and confidence you would expect, one that honors Christy, but is also ready to keep moving forward. Her passion for everything she does is apparent, and she does whatever task she is working on exceptionally well. Carrie is very deserving of this award and is someone who all young women, not only in sports law, but all areas, should aspire to be. Third is from Professor Erica Zonder at Eastern Michigan University. Carrie is a passionate academic, a great conference collaborator and travel buddy, a standout leader, an even better friend. Her research into motorsports, which is not a sport, is inspiring and unique, and she has a growing international reputation due to her expertise in this area. I couldn't think of a more deserving person to be honored by Marquette. And the last two are from alums, her colleagues in teaching throughout the country. The first is from Professor Sarah Brown, who is from our class of 2014. She's at SMU now. Whether we are visiting Marquette to speak on panels and present research, or our shared experiences at conferences, Carrie consistently radiates positivity and compassion. I've had the privilege of witnessing firsthand Carrie's impact not only on myself, but also on countless others. She is a cornerstone of support, always ready with a listening ear, a witty remark, or a comforting presence. And finally, it's from the guy who screwed up one of my surprises before coming here. His name's Mark Dodds. He's a professor at SUNY Cortland. He's from our class of 2005. When Paul asked me to say something nice about Carrie, I knew right away that would be difficult. Typically, someone who gets honored like this has done something great. Unfortunately, Carrie has not done that. Instead, she is excellent in everything that she does, so nothing is really noticeable. Whether it is need for an executive director for a difficult organization, a co-author, a co-presenter, who for some reason uses pictures on PowerPoint slides instead of words, college sports expert, fellow alum who remembers more about law school than I do, or most importantly, a trusted friend, Carrie's there. She's always available to talk about teaching or writing, or just needing someone to talk to because you feel sad remembering a beloved friend who is no longer with us. Carrie is there. Christy is probably so proud right now that she isn't even bugging people about the latest Yankees game. This recognition is truly well-deserved. And finally, I mentioned earlier Lauren McCoy Coffey. Lauren's a sport administration program director at Winthrop University, so one of Christy's colleagues, because Christy was also at Winthrop, and she's going to say a few words.
So as many of you will quickly realize, the Marquette Alumni Network is strong and vast, and it is an honor and privilege to be a part of that wonderful network. And because of that network, that is how I met Carrie. So in 2015, I was a young professor trying to figure out what I needed to do for research, because legal research and professor research is not necessarily the same in the undergraduate world, and I kind of struggled a little bit, but I went to that CIRLA conference in Charlotte and met Christy, who brought me in and said, "Oh, you're a Marquette alum? Well, come on, you got to hang out with us." And Carrie took part of that as well. And over these years, she has become a trusted colleague, a confidant, and most importantly, a friend. And I don't know what I would do without her, because she is in all ways very excellent. So it is my honor and privilege to announce and give you what you already know, the 2024 Charles Minkowski Sport Law Alumna of the Year Award to my good friend, Carrie Sabula.
Before I allow Carrie to talk, I just have a little bit to say about Carrie as well. I met Carrie immediately when she came here. She had been working at Villanova's athletic department, so of course I didn't like her when she got to law school because I hate Villanova. It also, though, you know, when she graduated from here, she went back into college athletics. She had a career. She came to law school, went back into college athletics. And so that made sense. And then a few years into that, I think she called me and she called some of the rest of us. She was going to teaching, which made absolutely no sense. I didn't understand why. It took me a while. But as I got to see her in that role, got to see her at conferences, at other things when she'd come here and speak, I realized she was a wonderful teacher, better, again, than I could be. I consider her one of my teaching mentors, honestly, like I did Christy, and that's great when you can see some of your students in that role after a while. Really, it's, you know, Carrie for this program. She comes back. She's here a lot. She's here when we do online events. She's here for in-person events. She's judged competitions. She judges some of our awards. She does pretty much anything I ask her, so she's become one of my counselors, one of my role models, which is wonderful, even if she's strangely fixated on motorsports, which I will never understand. So honestly, it is a true honor to be here for her to get this award, especially because I had no idea, of course, none of us knew that Christy was going to be gone this year. She would have been here when Carrie was receiving this award. So it's wonderful that Carrie can be here at the same time that we're honoring Christy. Carrie?
I'm going to try to get through this now that Lauren and PA have made me tear up. First, thank you to PA and to Lauren for that wonderful introduction. Thank you again to Marquette University Law School for this honor. It's strange to be standing up here and seeing several of my former professors, and I'm not going to lie, I'm still slightly intimidated, even though I graduated 18 years ago. First, I want to congratulate all of the award winners from this evening, and to those of you who will be receiving your sports law certificates, although as Professor Anderson pointed out, as long as you pass his class and Professor Mitten's class. When PA told me last week that I had to give a speech, he said he was sure it would include many motorsports references. One of these days, he is going to learn not to challenge me, so here we go. Silverstone, Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari, the Milwaukee Mile, IndyCar, Andretti, Earnhardt. Lights out and away we go. It's time to bring the action. Bristol, Le Mans, Indianapolis, Monaco, Daytona. You want me to keep going? Sure. Okay. I'll move on to my actual speech. PA asked me to gear my speech towards students, and I'll be honest, my first thought was my own students don't listen to what I have to say, so why would you? But I'll try anyway. I have a quote from three-time world driver champion Niki Lauda framed on my desk at home. Niki once said, "People criticize Formula One as an unnecessary risk, but what would life be like if we only did what is necessary?" Many feel that this quote is about life's so-called frivolities, vacations, treating yourself, doing anything special. But knowing Niki's history, he was involved in a serious accident in the Nürburgring in the 1970s, suffering severe burns to his head, neck, and lungs. This quote is about doing things that others do not believe are valuable or important. And many outside of our industry believe that sports falls on this list. I don't. I feel that sports and working in sports is necessary. We provide the diversion, the distraction from the rest of the world. We provide the glue that can hold cities and campuses together. Looking at my own city of Philadelphia, we have a world-renowned art museum, a world-recognized orchestra, and an award-winning theater complex. But it is the Phillies and the Eagles that draw the biggest crowds. It's Villanova and Temple shirts that you see walking around the city, not shirts from the art museum. What you are preparing to do is valuable and it is important. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Because after all, what would life be like if everyone only did what others consider to be necessary? To the 3 L's here. In just a few weeks, you are going to be joining an amazing group, the Sports Law Alumni Association. Being a graduate of the Marquette Sports Law program is a designation that will open doors for you. Just this week, PA sent out a job ad to the listserv where the person doing the hiring, who is not a Marquette alum, extolled the virtues of the Marquette Sports Law program. We've all heard of the Marquette Mafia. Look at how many alums are working in college athletics. Look at the front offices of the Orlando Magic, the Atlanta Braves, the Bucks, and the Brewers. Even in academia, I've worked with some amazing people and made amazing friends over the years just because I studied sports law at Marquette. This is a group that you will be able to network with, to ask advice, to commiserate when your students do things that make you bang your head on your desk. Ask Lauren what my favorite emoji is. More importantly, this is a group that will always have your back. You will never walk alone. And that's a soccer reference, not a motorsports reference. If you will indulge me for just a moment, I would like to make a couple of personal remarks. I put these at the end of my speech rather than at the beginning in the hopes that if I do break down, I would have already given you the advice you didn't listen to. It is especially poignant that I am receiving this award this year and this weekend as it has been just about a year since we lost Christy. When I became an academic, I reached out to PA and let him know, and he gave me the names of 2 fellow sports law alums who were now academics. Christy was one of them. I reached out to Christy, and she immediately welcomed me into the fold. At my first CERLA in Orlando, I had a ready-made group of people to hang out with, which is invaluable at an academic conference. When Christy became executive director of CERLA, we became her crew, setting up rooms, figuring out technology, making sure she ate, and keeping her supplied with Tito's. She loved wrestling, WWE wrestling, and New York sports, particularly the Yankees and the Jets. She was an amazing, wonderful woman, and we miss her every day. And in my mind, I can see her response to all of what we have said. She's rolling her eyes and waving her hands away like no, to all the nice things that we've said about her. Finally, I would like to say some nice things about PA, although I don't know why. Hopefully this is not being recorded because I will deny always that I ever said these things. We have been so very blessed to have PA in our corners. The work he has done to make the National Sports Law Institute what it is today can never be replicated, and you will realize the extent of this when you graduate. He will be the one you call to share all of your news with, the one you will ask for advice, and he will be there for you. A few years ago, I gave PA a copy of a textbook that I was co-author for, and I wrote him a note because he told me I had to. Just yesterday, he told me he hasn't read the note yet. So this is the gist of what I said. To the man who I will always call Professor Anderson, thank you for being the best professor and mentor that a girl could ever ask for. I may have also said that motorsport is a sport. And now that I've said nice things about you, you have to come to the IndyCar race in September at the Milwaukee Mile. Thank you again to Marquette Sports Law and to Marquette Law School and to the National Sports Law Institute for this honor. And students, good luck on your finals and congratulations to the newest class of Marquette lawyers. Thank you.
So it's news that Carrie wrote a book. Huh. Just a few final things. First of all, you know, you guys, a lot of you are going to be graduating soon. A lot of you are going to take finals, all that sort of stuff. Your time here is quick, because I remember when these two were first years and I just was meeting them. I remember it very vividly, and for some of them it was a long time ago. I remember when Christopher was first year, Hassan, Josh, you know, Josh, who's, by the way, his self-created firm when he graduated is now one of the top 100 sports law firms in the country. Oh, yeah, we could, sure. It goes too fast, and it goes too fast because there are so many of you interested, and you guys are doing wonderful things. You guys are the sports law program. I'm kind of the administrator who helps create some of these things and buys Jimmy John's, which you all love so much. So thank you guys for all you've done this year. It's been a ton of stuff this year. It's been a ton this semester. You won't see me for a couple days after this, but it's been worth it because I know the alums are impressed with you. I know that. And then I know the other people from the industry who come are impressed. So I really hope you guys realize that even when there's doubt, even when you're coming to finals, even when you're scared about what's next, it's going to work out. I know hearing that from someone like me is worthless at times, but trust me, that's based on experience. The other thing is, Matt, could you come here for a second? That's you. You might, I think you're not going to be able to see this, but some of you were here in 2019 when we did our 30th anniversary. And what would you think I'd do? I made a bobblehead. And it was a blue and white bobblehead in recognition of 30 years. So for the 35th, it's a blue and gold bobblehead. But the 35th comes with supply chain issues. So first, the mold for this broke in the Chinese warehouse. And now there's a shipping delay. So what these are is vouchers. If you're a current student or anyone who's going to come back here in the fall, you don't need one of these. It should, God willing, I'll have them. I'll give you one, okay? Everyone else, if you're not going to be here, you can either put your address on the back or send me an email with your address, and the Bobblehead Hall of Fame will send you one of these in the fall, or hopefully in the fall, okay? I wish they would have been here. And the final thing is just a couple reminders. I asked the current editors, Abby's group, to join the Tierney's up here for a picture right after. And then all of the third-year sports law certificate candidates to come up and we'll take a large group picture. And then after that, Ryan, I need a picture of just you. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night.